We are so happy to have Pete Hughes here today. He was instrumental in founding the Parsons Area Community Foundation in 1995. What was the catalyst for this?
Well, that has an interesting answer, Ann. There was a lady who lived here before your time by the name of Harriet Wrench. She was a native of Parsons, well known in the community, was a teacher for a good many years among other things. And when she died, she left her estate, or at least the estate that I heard about, to an aunt who lived in the state of Washington. This aunt was independently wealthy, and as I say, in her 80s, so she was well along. She didn't need this support in any way. The support was around $350,000. If we'd had a community foundation, and I'd heard about that and read about it, but we didn't have anything of that kind, it would have been a wonderful place for Miss Wrench to leave her money, and she would have been interested to do it because she was community minded. As it was gone. So that was a motivation for establishing our Parsons Community Foundation. And I would like to add too that I talked with the local attorney, Dick Dirth, who was also a native of Parsons, and told him what was on my mind, and he gave all the expertise needed to establish a foundation which legally is out of the ordinary, and that's how the foundation got started.
Has there been a surprising contribution since this was started?
I'm glad you asked that question, because the answer is absolutely yes. And we hadn't been established too long, probably a year and a half, 2 years, when a local couple by the name of Merlin, commonly known as Mike, and Charlene Taylor, his wife, sold a business that had turned out to be a very successful operation for them. And they had the choice of operating a foundation on their own, which they decided they didn't want to fool with that, so they turned it over to the community foundation for use in the community where they lived and where they'd be interested in. And it amounted to $2 million, which is impressive. It was very impressive then, and it's still impressive today, and that really got us off to a flying start.
Are there different ways a person can contribute to the community foundation?
Yes, and I'm not an expert at this, as you know, but have been involved in it and am extremely interested in the success of this. There is, of course, you can just leave the money to the foundation board and let them direct where it goes. Or there is such a thing as a donor advised fund, where the donor has the privilege to make suggestions. It still can't be used to pay for his kids going to school or something like that. It has to be within the guidelines of a foundation.
How does the community foundation function?
Well, as you know, we have a board of directors, hopefully chosen on the basis of where they're from. We have one from Oswego, one from St. Paul, the rest from the closer in Parsons area, but they do represent more than just a local Parsons foundation, which I think is important because we are in this together. And they serve at no pay. It's just they meet regularly, and it's their responsibility to spend this money that comes in through donations and gifts from the area in a way that is beneficial to the whole community. And they make these donations regularly each year. And people who need help or want to get some support can submit a request to the board, and they'd give it consideration. And I think it's a wonderful asset to a community to have this type of opportunity to help support the community in a way that only money can do. And a lot of folks have the money and they don't know exactly what to do with it. This is an opportunity, and we have found this to be true, that if they can give to the community foundation and let it be used for the benefit of the entire area, they'll be happy, the donor will be happy, and so will the community.
How have you seen the Community Foundation received by the public since its inception?
Well, I think that's a good question, because when we first started, people really were not familiar with it. It was new to this community and new to a lot of communities. We'd heard about the foundation of rich people around the world, but not in a small community like Parsons and others. So it has taken a while, but it's beginning to, it has grown some from the beginning. That $2 million gift that was mentioned earlier is an example, but people have continued to give support to this, to the Parsons area Community Foundation, and it's been very rewarding. I think it shows an interest, and I think it will continue to grow, because it allows people to contribute to things in the community that are worthwhile and makes the community a good place to live.